Reyes.
I'm your host, Santi Hernandez.
And I'm your co-host, Javier Vicuna.
On today's show, we're going to do something different with no scripts, no rundown, so we're very excited. We're actually going to talk about our passion, chasing our dreams, and I like how Santi initiated this idea, so we're very excited to try this out.
Yeah, well, again, we're going to try something new. It's always good to try something new.
It's good to be more raw, especially if we're talking about our passions and our goals, because a lot of rawness comes out of our passions. So
yeah,
I'm glad we're doing it in this format.
But yeah, of course.
So do you want to start with one of your passions since you were little?
Since I was little, I'm really artistic. So I love cameras. I'm graphic design, photography. I'm really good at that. And I can do it for hours, and I don't even know how time flies.
Many of you may not know this, but the way you're watching us right now is we're actually using Santi's camera, and she's the one that's actually mostly tweaking out how the camera looks and how we all look. So you can thank her for
thank
a
you.
lot of the video stuff that we're doing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But because she's really great at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, can I just say that you taught me a lot with just like videos. Last time we were like recording like these video shot, and I didn't know how to do transitions. So like I really liked how you taught me.
Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you.
We all did a project for a healing circle in China camp, and we were instructed to record that event. And Santi was very helpful because
she got all her packing gear.
She came ready and prepared.
I don't know if it happens to you guys, but for me, I don't know what to do if you put me in front of a camera, like posing or stuff. But if you put me behind the camera, I can like direct you and be like, oh, this is good.
And I totally noticed that, like when we were there, like you do exactly what shots to get and what look good and what doesn't look good.
Yeah,
you have a good eye for things.
Oh, thank
you.
Have
you considered being a director?
No, but I do direct my own videos and videos for the businesses that I have with my family, and I do my own. So I'm a photographer. So if you want photos, you can text me or what is it? DM me? Is that what you said? DM me on Instagram. Yeah. And I think part of the beautiful thing that with TAY Radio is that we have different passions and goals, and we kind of add that to the table. So again, like Javier said, my kind of like area is cameras, photography, all that stuff. And Javier's audio, right? So the way you hear us, same thing, the audio work, everything is on Javier. So he does an amazing job. Really, he teaches me a lot of things when I'm in the studio working with him, on how the level should be, on how this needs to be. So awesome thing about us as a TAY team is that we have different passions. And what about you guys? Do you guys want to share kind of like your passions that you guys have?
Well, I guess just a little more about audio is that I've always loved audio since high school, really, because I got into audio through the theater program at my school, and I would run the audio board on the... Yeah, I would run the audio board for the shows, and I really started to...
They would wear mics,
Yeah, they would wear the mics and everything, and then I got the experience of, like, putting on the mics on their face and then leveling things out. No one really taught me anything. I just kind of went into it because they needed someone, and I was like, I mean, sure, I'll try it out. And I really liked it, and I really enjoyed it. And I actually do want to bring something up, speaking of that, because I would have never been able to really... be where I'm at now, because I graduated with a degree in broadcasting and electronic communication, but an emphasis on audio, and I wouldn't have been able to like even pursue that passion or even think of like going into audio as like a career if it weren't for all the great instructors that I had at SR. I went to San Rafael High School. And I have to really give props to Sean Castle. He was the musical teacher he was the music teacher at SR. And unfortunately, he passed away a couple weeks ago. And that really hit a lot of SR people hard. Like it really hit me hard. And I know it hit a lot of other people because he was just amazing. Like he not only was he an amazing saxophone player, but he was an amazing music teacher, a great friend, and overall like
you're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, like I mean, I got really emotional when I heard about that because he pushed me to like he's like, hey, you're pretty good at this stuff, man. Like you should like look into this more. And he helped me actually get a job working for the school to run the audio board for not just the musical stuff, but also running like if an organization comes to do a presentation or something, I'd be there. Like I'd be doing the audio and everything and be setting it up. So he really, really kickstarted everything for me. And it really broke my heart when I heard that he passed away. So, I just wanted to mention that. I didn't mean to get so
No, it's fine. That's totally
But
awesome.
it's just something I needed to bring up because I wouldn't have been here with like where I'm at now if it weren't for his push and his help and just his kindness. He's just a great guy overall.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I feel like mentors are really a big part of our life because we learn from them. Of course, like I see you guys as my mentors as well because I learn from you guys. And I think it's very like important to have mentors. If you're unsure of stuff, just ask. Don't be scared about asking because you learn a lot once they give you more information. And as a first gen, I also had like counselors who helped me. Like I would bother them a lot just because I wanted like specific classes that I thought was very interesting to learn.
Like you know what you want, right?
Yeah. And so I was just trying to find out what works out for me. And yeah, I just really like how they were willing to help and just further my career with education. But
yeah, you're totally right about it. And the reason why I say I want to cry because I had the similar connection with a former teacher
teacher?
who what
Was it an avid teacher?
was an avid teacher from Terra Linda. I'm a Terra Linda person, and I had him for 2 years. And if you guys don't know, I'm also an author, so I have a book for children. It's a picture book, and it's called Don't Show Off. And the only reason why I was able to have my book, and you can get it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble if you want to.
Might as well,
As a gift.
Y'all hear it here.
Yeah, so
might as well plug your Instagram.
yeah,
'cause
and
it-
so my Instagram is Santi Nayeli, so SANTYNAYELI. It's my first and second name. So the reason I got into that was I asked for help, and he was my mentor during that time. And I said, I want to publish this book, and he helped me throughout the whole process. And he was actually my editor, which is so kind of funny and cool to say. And he passed away, and unfortunately it was unexpected, and it broke my heart because to this day, one of the biggest things that his quote or his saying that he said during one graduation speech was, "You have everything you need to succeed." That quote sticks to me every day. And, through big moments of my life when I'm like, I have everything I need, which is myself, right? I have everything I need to be able to pursue my passions and dream, whether it's audio, music, art, photography. You have what you need, guys. And unfortunately, sometimes with society and things in our personal life, that
our
brings us down.
self-esteem goes down.
And you're like, I need to. You compare yourself to certain people on social media, like, oh, she's pretty,
So
she's more handsome.
Well, social media is really unhealthy.
Yeah,
honestly.
and then
like if you stick yourself way too much into social media, you start comparing yourself to other people. And a lot of people just display their best on Instagram.
When there's a lot of
I
challenges.
don't even post.
As someone who posts quite often, I do, due to the work that I do as a creative artist, I guess, and I've realized that, and that's when I always have his saying of like, you have everything you need, which is you, right?
Yeah.
You have what you need to succeed. No one else can give you. People can give you the tools, but you're the only one who will reach out and be like, okay, I'm going to do this. So, yeah. What about you, Anna? Like, what is it that your, passion, dreams that you have, or goals?
I just really like vibing with other people, just talking, learning new cultures.
So you like learning?
Yeah, I like learning a lot. I'm actually going to Berkeley, so it's a very exciting experience, but I think I wouldn't be there if it weren't for mentors, my family, just helping me out, because it's been rough, just like managing time with what you want to do. And it can be complicated when you just don't know what you want to like pursue and put your 100% effort into something that you actually want to do, and not just do a lot of effort for something you're not going to end up liking, So it can be very worrisome if I do end up there, which I hope not. And I don't think so, because like you said, it's up to you to choose what you're going to do, and you have to initiate it. And I think you also have to have confidence in yourself and believe in yourself to do what you want to do. And
that's totally true because I don't mean to put you on the spot here, Santi, but I remember you mentioned to me. So me and Santi, we also run the production for Cuerpo Corazón Comunidad, which is another radio show that's produced in this studio. Which is a Spanish-based community radio show. But me and Santi, every now and then we have a chance to talk, and during that, and one thing that you brought up was that day so this Wednesday, I was gonna go meet up with a few people for a cycling group ride, and I just mentioned that to Santi, and Santi was like, "Wow, like that like motivates me," or like it makes you like you were like a little more like how do you do that? Like how do you go out of your way to
yeah,
I
think I mentioned to you the comfort zone that for me, I think it happens to a lot of people too, where I'm so comfortable with the certain circle that I have with the certain people, like coworkers, or and you stay stuck in one little thing. So
like in your own little bubble,
yeah, and then you miss out on certain opportunities, like networking. That's basically what you're doing, networking. And if you guys don't know what networking is, like connections, basically,
getting to know new people.
Yeah, and that to me has been such a struggle at times. Like I'm a person who likes to talk, but if I get to know you, and however, I'm not so like going up to you and be like, hey, how are you? What do you do? Or it's sometimes hard for me. So when Javier told me that I'm going, because Javier, if you don't know this, he bikes and he's gone to different groups to bike. And I'm like, do you know them? He's like, no, I'm going to get to know them today. And I told him like, wow, like I want to be able to do that, to go to different events. And even if I don't know much about it, like that's the point. So people get to know me.
Because the thing is like whatever you're passionate about, there's always going to be other people that are as passionate about that thing as you are. So for example, that cycling thing, when I go to those group rides, obviously everyone's into cycling too. And it's really great to be able to, because what you'll find is that when you start talking with those people, you guys start relating on a lot of stuff because you're so passionate about the same thing.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you reminded me of that.
Yeah.
There's, if you guys don't know, or Javier and I, we also share this thing where we enjoy cars. Right. I don't know about you, Annalie, but we enjoy cars. And there's this networking group, it's not really a networking group, but it's called Cars and Coffee. So they do it in Novato, and it's where people who have cars, fast sports cars, classical cars, and they all gather there, and they're in front of Starbucks so you can get coffee. So Cars and Coffee. And that day I went, and there were so many people there. And
I've seen it on Snapchat.
Yeah, you've seen it. So my brothers and I were really into cars, and we went there, and I didn't know any of the people. We were just walking around in our own bubble. Here's the problem, right? In our own bubble.
Yeah.
Towards the end, where everybody leaves, there's this basically illegal car here, but you can't buy it here. Only certain people have permission to have it. Yeah, it's the 34, the Skyline 34. Yeah, and so we all got close to it, and all the people started talking to one another. And I was like, wow. And I'm like kind of shy and like in the background. And the guy's like, is that your car? And I'm like, oh God, I wish it was my car. It's not my car. But we ended up talking, and I ended up meeting the guy, and that was just so awesome. So going back to kind of like networking, it's very uncomfortable at times, but you gain so much. You get
very comfortable once you guys start talking about that thing, right? So the passion that you guys were talking about cars there. Like it seems scary at first, but when you're actually there and then someone starts a conversation and you guys start talking about, again, what you're passionate about, you'll find that it's actually very easy to talk about things because you guys are both equally as passionate about the car or just car culture or anything, right? Just anything that you're passionate about.
Yeah. So I feel like for me, I am willing to go up and to start a conversation with someone if they seem shy or something like that. But if they have I don't know how to say it, but if they are very outgoing, I'm typically the one who's like a little bit shy. But it just depends on the person. If I'm confident, I will initiate a conversation. And it's always fun to get to know someone and see different viewpoints. That's why like I like having the show, because we see a lot of different viewpoints. Especially like different countries, different race people. So it's very interesting to like just know a lot of stuff from different people.
Yeah. And back to kind of like what our topic of the show is, your goals and dreams. When you start pursuing that, remember that there are people out there who can mentor you, and that, again, going back with like just even talking to someone, it's uncomfortable at times, like you feel uncomfortable, but once you take the step forward to, you know, working or pursuing your dream, it might feel uncomfortable to you because you're like doubting yourself or like this, but along the way, along you getting to know more about the passion or the certain thing that you're passionate about, you'll start to see that you get more comfortable, and then you become more you see how much you gain versus if you stayed in the same place. Does that make sense?
And that's
with any goals?
like college is also a really great thing to just go to. I know a lot of people choose not to go to college. But let's say you go to college, or not even for college either. Let's say like after high school, right? Yeah. That's when you kind of forget about everyone. I feel like after high school, like everyone who you didn't like, or people that you hung out with, sometimes it just all breaks away after high school, because you guys aren't in the same area anymore, and they all either go to college, they all go take a job somewhere. But if you know, obviously you keep connections with the people that you're really close with in high school, but like after high school, it's such it's like a big period of you finding yourself, like truly finding yourself. And you know, you can find your passion by going to college and saying like, let's say I'm really into this thing and they have a career in it, then I'll go to college for it. Or you find that, you know, a job where you don't have to go to college, but you're still passionate about it. So like being a car mechanic, for example, let's say maybe
certain programs
or programs, anything that like you find interesting and you see yourself doing, there's always a way to do that. And it doesn't always have to be college, or it doesn't have to be at a shop or a program. There's various options out there.
You can even create your own dream job. Like,
for sure. Yeah. Oh my goodness, yes.
But what I'm trying to get at here is whatever route you take after high school and you follow your passion, you're going to find people who are going to be just as passionate about it as you are.
Yeah,
like you're going to
so
find
true.
those. It's going to naturally happen, and you want to keep those people really close to you. Sometimes, so for example, like for the audio stuff, when I was taking all the audio classes, I didn't see it as a competition. A lot of guys, or a lot of people there in my classes saw it as a competition. They were like, oh, my mix has to be the best mix in the class, or like, I have to do this better than everyone else.
I don't like that.
Like,
I don't like that vibe.
Competition, healthy competition is good because it can help people grow, right?
Yeah.
But if you're always like in that mindset that you have to be better than everyone else, well, it's just going to make you not likable to other people.
I feel like it's very toxic.
It's very toxic. Very true. There's one thing that I kind of changed my way of seeing it, where my brother used to run track and we ran together, and my coach, his name is Coach Ron. I love his methods, and he said, remember when you're in a race that you're racing with people, yes, but the most important person that you're competing with is not your opponent. And he asked me, like, who is it? And I'm like, myself. And then, well, actually I didn't say that. I said the other person. He said, no, it's yourself. You're the best. Like, you are your competitor. And he said not to beat yourself at saying like, I did this bad, or I did it bad. He was like, no. So when we run track, your times, your PRs, he's like, can you better that? Can you make that better? Can you study your body and say, oh, this worked, this didn't work? Like, but you're competing with yourself. And he's like, and sometimes like the result of that is actually making better things than the other component. And the reason why, because the other component is thinking, I need to beat that person, and not really working on their, their work.
On their own.
Does that make sense? I thought that was amazing when he told me that.
I feel like the same thing. Like for me, for basketball, I started like the first year of my freshman year in high school, and I didn't have any experience with basketball. So like I would do really bad like mistakes, and I would beat myself
And
up.
mistakes are fine. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't realize they beat themselves so much when they make a mistake or when they aren't seeing results immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just you getting better. I know it's
That's for
frustrating. Like I
yeah.
understand how frustrating it is to not,
Mhm.
you know, to make a mistake when you think you've prepared or something. I understand how
Yeah.
frustrating it is.
Yeah.
But also it's just such a it makes you stronger. It creates more of that passion that like
Yeah.
I can see that too, because like for me, for basketball, I would actually cry like after a basketball game, because it's like a team effort, and if I do something wrong, I always put myself like down because I could have done better. That's always what I would think. But it's also a team effort. Like I have to work with my other team and consider what they can do better, so we can all work better.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I totally understand that like not everything is gonna happen at that moment. Like nothing is gonna change at that moment. It takes time to progress and get better. Like specifically for sports, you have to work your like you need time for that to work. See progress.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was a awesome experience for me. At least I definitely got better. I actually, on my second year, I was the first 5 when I didn't even understood basketball last year. Like I didn't know any of the rules. I can just say that the worst mistake I ever done was grabbing someone's shirt to stop the ball, which is so funny, because when I did that, everyone was shocked. Everyone,
they were like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing?" Yeah.
It was so funny now that I look back on it. But you learn so much from your mistakes, so don't put yourself down for it. I really enjoyed basketball, even through the tough times. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I'm glad you shared that because again, sports are such a great way of also just becoming creating that self growth and that passion. It creates a good skills for you mentally,
Yeah.
and both physically too. But I mean, it's not just sports too. It could be musical theater, or it could be mechanical skills, anything that makes you do something with your body and you can learn from and create mistakes from. That's what will lead you to the top and and help you find your passion.
Yeah. And I kind of want to touch on something to the audience, and that's that normally when you get out of or in school, they tell you like go to school, graduate, get a job, and then you can, have a family and all that stuff. And we tend to get stuck in that mindset just because it's kind of tradition. But if you see nowadays, our generation, we're kind of branching out. We're kind of following what we want, seeing what we can do. So for all of you, whether you're a music artist, so next week we'll be having Gabriel, who he has produced his own music, written his own songs. So maybe you're an artist or a singer who's like, how can I do that? Like how do I need to do this? So, or whether you're an author who wants to publish their own book and you're like, how do I start? Or if you're into audio, how can I create, a mix? Or if you're a director, anything, it could be anything, or a basketball player. I was listening to a podcast and it said the most important thing is to start. Right? So if you have an idea or you have a goal or a dream and you feel like you haven't been able to start, or you're like, I'm not there, and you compare to other people, just start. I'm someone who struggles with that, and Javier knows this. I have so many plans and I'm stuck. And I ask myself, why am I stuck? And it's because I overthink. I overthink about what people or how my work needs to be. And the guy said, just start, because then 5 days from now, 10 days from now, 100 days from now, you're going to look back at how you started, and it might seem like you started horrible.
Yeah,
it might be a horrible song or a horrible production. But then he says, along the way, you're going to see after 100 days, you're going to see the progress. You're going to see how you started and where you are. And then from there, you just make mistakes, you learn from it, and then you go again. You make mistakes, you learn from it again. And so
it applies to everything.
Everything, guys. Everything.
Literally everything. Because like when I first started cycling, I was very used to not being on the road because I came from a mountain biking background. But once I got a new bike that was way faster on the road, I was kind of scared at first, not going to lie. Like I was really scared to be around
Cars.
Vehicles, not really having much protection other than my helmet. But I said, you know what? I have to do it because what use am I gonna get out of this bike if I can't use it at its full potential? And it's great.
I can agree with driving. I know, like
driving too. Yeah,
for youth audience, it can be nerve-wracking to even drive the highway. I mean, the freeway. Like for me, I had to push myself to like actually drive because for me I was very nervous just driving on the streets and the highway, but I pushed myself because I needed to get to work, so it was like a motivation for me to get out and just start like you mentioned, start practicing slow on the road with your family.
And that's kind of how I was when I started driving for the first time too. It was because I started driving at 16, and I was like super, like I already knew how to drive, but I was also like super like at the same time I was like, oh, what if I crash or what if this happens, right?
Yeah.
But I just kind of got into that mentality where I was just like, if I crash, I crash. Ni modo. I can't do anything about it. Like I literally can't do any. I had to be super like just worry free about me driving. But I don't know. That was just me. But go ahead.
I feel like, well, for me, when I first started driving, I thought the vehicle is a weapon because it is.
It is.
Oh, it is.
So I was very like I overthink as well. So I always try to not overthink and just let myself know that I'm in control of the wheel. If anything happens, I can do what I can do at that moment and try my best not to crash.
Yeah, I love how you guys mentioned that. How that feeling of like the unknown, because you don't know, right? You feel like you're out of control, but when you're in control, but it's because it's different, unique, that feeling. And I just looked at the time and I'm like, whoa, time flies. With me, I'm gonna end my part with saying that. So recently with my siblings, we have a car detailing business, and Javier knows this, and I've always had this fear of like just even talking about it, of promoting my business. I know the work we do, and it's a very delicate work, and we do really good work. Like we've practiced, we've gone to school for it and stuff. But just, even saying, hey, I have a detailing business, that freaked me out, and it reminded me of like learning how to drive because I was scared, I was nervous, I didn't know. And my dad always told me, he calls it contacto en frío, contacting cold. And he's like, it's so easy, but I overthink it that I make it so complicated, like nervous and stuff. And I just realized like now my brothers and I, we're like promoting and doing this, and we've been getting a lot of cars, and we get to work with such amazing cars. Like as a car fanatic, we're like, oh my God, this is so awesome. So we've been doing that, but just that like overthinking, just because of overthinking, that was the border that I had to be able to experience so many things. So if you ever want to start a business, or if you love baking or anything, you want to start a business or create your own content or music or anything, please do it.
Just don't overthink it.
Yeah,
Literally
I swear.
Don't overthink it.
As a person who's starting her detailing business to grow bigger, trust me, I regret not starting sooner. I regret not starting certain steps because I'm like, wow, I could have gained so much more. Exactly. But because of the fear, because of me thinking I can't do it. Sweetheart, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And that's so many things that we tend not to tell each other. So like I always end the show with saying you're one of a kind, because I really believe it. You guys are so amazing, and you guys have so many things that you're capable to do, and that once you bring that to the table, trust me, you're not just going to do it for yourself, like to gain certain things for yourself. You can inspire and motivate people, young people who are going through really some tough stuff, because I know that you guys are going through tough stuff, and just know that you can do it and you can pursue your dreams and goals. So just want to say that before we end the show, and I don't know if you guys want to say anything before we end.
Well, we don't have much time left, but I just want to say everyone is special and everyone has their own passions, and the longer that you wait on doing that passion and making it work, the more you'll regret it over time. So just do it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And thank you for watching and hearing a little bit more about us and learning our experience. And we hope you guys could have relate a little bit. And we're very excited for our next week's show with our guest, who we will be talking more about how he pursued his
musical career.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should be exciting. All right.